Welcome to our series, Driving Public Sector Innovation, where we look at how public sector agencies are unleashing AI-powered database solutions to drive innovation and improve agency operations to deliver services more effectively and securely. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and here to talk about how AI applications in the cloud are helping agencies scale their databases more effectively are Alan Fuller, CIO for the state of Utah. Alan, thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to start by asking, set the stage a little bit for us about the scope of your operations and how are advances in AI and database technologies and cloud computing making a difference in enhancing your organization's efforts to support operations and services for the state of Utah?
Thank you, Wyatt, and great to be with you today. So for the state of Utah, we're a centralized IT organization. So we support all of the agencies across the state, and we're a full service IT organization. So we do the application development, we do the networking, we do the help desking, cybersecurity, data center hosting. We do all of the IT functions. The state of Utah has about a little over 20,000 employees. And depending on how you count the agencies, about 30 or so different agencies. So that's our focus. We have an organization of about 800 employees and a couple hundred contractors that we provide the services with. With regard to artificial intelligence and database technologies, there's, of course, a lot of excitement around generative AI, but generative AI is really just one flavor of artificial intelligence. And we've been working with an artificial intelligence task force going back to 2018. So there are multiple flavors of artificial intelligence that we're investing in, and we're seeing some pretty good value. I'll give you some specific examples, but I wanted to talk about cloud computing as well that you mentioned. So when we think about cloud computing, we've moved well over half of our application portfolio of 1,600 or so applications to the cloud, and there's multiple ways in which we do that. One is when we move software to a commercial off-the-shelf solution, most of those are offered in a SaaS format now, which are essentially cloud-based. And then we're also investing heavily in application development platforms where we need to build custom solutions. And so the application development platforms that we're using and these are low-code, no-code type of platforms. Those are also cloud-based. And so as we replace older technologies with these newer application development platforms, that's also moving applications to the cloud. And then finally, we're just taking advantage of the cloud compute environments, and we're moving applications like Java or .NET applications, moving those to the cloud as well. And I see that trend sort of continuing, and we're certainly taking advantage of it. Let me give you an example of a place where we've used artificial intelligence that I thought was kind of neat and really effective. So we have the State Department of Transportation has been purchasing properties for years, going back over 100 years, and those properties are represented with maps, and we needed a way to represent information about those properties in a way that was searchable and easy to find. And it has to do with things like right-of-ways on the property and where the parcels are. And there are actually thousands and thousands of these existing plan sheets or that where information needed to be extracted and pulled into a database so it could be searchable and manageable. And doing that is a very painstaking manual process that's difficult to do. But we worked with a vendor and an artificial intelligence technology to scan through 90,000 of these plan sheets and to extract over 50,000 different parcels meeting specific criteria. There was some optical character recognition in there. And the program extracting this parcel text to a database was able to then create a database of attributes that could be used really easily. And so we calculate that we saved over 6,000 hours of work using this artificial technology, and saved about $1.8 million. So the ROI was spectacular. I think the benefit to cost ratio was 119 to 1 was what the team calculated. And so where we see a strong ROI like that in using artificial intelligence, it becomes a really compelling technology for us to reduce manual work, and it allows us to move employees to higher value add services. And with regard to when people say artificial intelligence, of course, a lot of times now they're talking about generative AI. And I would say, it's early days for us with generative AI. We're evaluating it, we're looking at it, some people are using it individually, but we're still kind of figuring out how generative AI is going to be useful at the enterprise level.
Well, can you offer another example of some of the kind of challenges that the state is facing or your organization is facing, where these technologies have really offered new capabilities and new, more powerful solutions to tackle some of the challenges that states and government agencies face?
Yeah, it's interesting. As a government, we face a lot of there's a lot of processes that we would really want to modernize and streamline. And so one of the things we're looking at with that is robotic process automation. And an example there where we're using robotic process automation is in our purchasing process, when basically as invoices come in, and they are processed. Right now, it's a fairly manual process, and there's an invoice that has to be tied to a purchase order. There's a receiving record for the item purchased, and those have to all be connected together. And so we have a process today where someone is kind of manually connecting the invoice and the purchase order and the receiving order, and they're doing this just even in our IT organization, about 250 times per week, very repetitive, painstaking process. And what we're able to do was automate some of that using robotic process automation tools. And by automating it, we were able to free up resources, first of all, to do higher value add things. And then we were able to improve our service as well. So for example, the invoices had a tendency to kind of sit around in someone's email inbox for a day or two. Now those can be processed almost instantly. And we've also been able to reduce human error in that manual process and make sure all the invoices are always accounted for. And it used to take us nearly 2 days to from the record creation to the next state. And we've been able to bring that average time down to less than half a day. And so, the overall process we brought down from like 2 2/3 days was our measure, down to about half a day. So, about an 80% reduction in the time to process those, and do the whole process just much more quickly and effectively using these automation tools. So I consider that another example. And of course, we're hungry for more use cases where we can apply robotic process automation and artificial intelligence to help our people be more productive and help us to be more effective.
Yeah, terrific example. So, agencies continue to face more and more data growth every day, every year. And so it becomes important for database technologies and analytics to be able to help them keep abreast of what they have and so forth. Can you talk a little bit about how your agency customers, as it were, have been able to maybe improve their operations internally because of more robust database analytics?
Yeah, so we have a situation in the state where our legislators, our policymakers are really looking for better data on crime that's happening across the state so they can make decisions and laws and policies as effectively as possible. But there's a practical problem. The practical problem is the crime data is typically created and stored in a police agency in each little community around the state. And with better integration tools, we've been able to reach out. We're well along on a project to be able to integrate each of those systems and pull some summary data from each of those systems into a central statewide database for our Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice that is basically creating a visibility into the crime data across the state so our policymakers can be well informed and create the best policies possible. And I think the collating, the collecting, collating, analytics on top and the reporting out of that data is all kind of a good example of how we're able to use technology to do something that we really, had a hard time doing before.
And then thinking externally, serving the citizens of Utah, can you maybe offer another example of how more robust data management technologies and analytics tools are helping to improve the level of services that state agencies are able to provide their customers?
Let me actually provide an example that's cybersecurity related. We have, as I'm sure this target audience is well aware of, the dangerous environment that we live in with ransomware attacks and malware attacks happening frequently. And so, of course, we have a strong vested interest in trying to keep our environment safe. And so one of the things that we've done is we take network logs across all the traffic that comes into the network. And with that, that data amounts to several terabytes of data per day. And we scan through that massive amount of information looking for malware bytes of code that we can then that will help us identify where we have an issue that somebody needs to dig into deeper and resolve. And that so first of all, just the raw data horsepower to manage that massive amount, terabytes per day of data coming through, it's way beyond, of course, what any human readable amount of data. But by using the massive database technologies, modern database technologies, we're able to store that in a way that we can operate effectively, even with those very large data quantities. And then we're able to train artificial intelligence tools to look for the malware bytes that we need. And that has been extraordinarily effective for us from a defense mechanism. And it's honestly saved our bacon a few times.
That's a great example. And then lastly, Alan, so can you talk a little about how some of these modern database technologies are also helping to speed up agile development or provide sort of advanced analytical capabilities that really improves the overall operational resiliency of state agencies?
We look to there's a lot of process improvement that we're trying to do, and we're just there's sort of basic things that we're working on, like making sure that we have good project visibility across the portfolio of projects that we're managing. So we have analytics dashboards that point to what are the features we're completing this quarter, and where are we at with projects in from a budget sense, from a status perspective with progress on the project. And I know that's maybe not like super innovative in terms of the technology, but it's a combination of our project management software, our database technology, and our analytics that help us have visibility and manage all these things across a really complex environment.
Well, Alan Fuller, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us, share your insights on many of the projects that you're working on for the state of Utah, and really helping us see how modern database technologies are setting the stage for better AI application and helping agencies really to be more resilient. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing some of your perspectives on that.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you.